Tune in, turn up, the clock's ticking fast. Crypto secrets from the future and past. Magic got the spark, Dave's got the flow. Right in the blockchain, wherever it goes. The Crypto Magic Hour, feel the power. Counting coins as we print every hour. VV Magic, Dave's on the scene. Crypto dreams in a digital gleam. Oh yeah, the Crypto Magic Hour.
I mean, is there a better intro in crypto? What's up, guys? I'm thrown off today. I got a lot going on, but welcome to the Magic Hour. Minus VV Magic today because she is out doing stuff. But we got a good one. We got guests. We got Think Protocol here with us. Mikey's in the building today. Bildo's here. MetaBeast is here. What's up, boys?
Anybody else get the echo?
No, I'm good.
I'm good.
Oh,
GM Dave, how you doing?
I'm chilling, man. I'm chilling, you know, fresh off of a MacBook hack yesterday, but we push on, my friend. We push on. What's good, bro?
I'm good. I know Mikey's been busy. I think I heard you and Jesse both on was it Coffee with Captain this morning? So I feel like it's probably all systems go at this point with the Mint just over 24 hours away. So super excited to have you on here.
Oh, let's go.
It's happening the day we've been working towards for a long time. I remember in 2019 going to Jesse's office, and I've been working at this big AI company. And I remember saying, like, I literally see a path to make it so that every human can own AI and that we can build an AI layer on the internet, and been working hard the last 6 years to get here. The technology is finally here to make it happen.
Let's go, man. Dude, Mikey, I'm psyched, bro. I'm really, really psyched. But MetaBeast, what's good, man? How are you?
I'm doing well. Survived a Easter egg hunt over in another realm.
Yes.
Looking forward to this Think Mint tomorrow, I believe.
Yeah. We got shit cooking out here, man.
And I can finally get some time to jump into the Readyverse. So
let's go.
I think Jesse's on too, Dave, as well.
Oh, you see? This is why I'm not used to the we're going packed stage. Let's go. Yo!
Also, what can I do to get one of them Think sweatshirts? I saw them at ETH Denver. I wanted one.
What the fuck?
I got a render hat, but I got no Think gear. So definitely need a Think hat.
You're gonna have to talk sweet to Mike, and he'll have to cut one loose.
We're gonna have to do a post mint order.
Yo, when we were outside, when we were waiting online for Dawn of the Agents, and Mikey had like his shirt on, I was like, yo, Mikey's out here kissing babies like he's the president, bro. I was like, he literally enjoys this shit like crazy. Like, Mikey, that was the best thing. You're like, hey, how you doing? How you doing? I was like, where the babies at for Mikey to kiss right now? Like, this is amazing. Nah, Jesse, what's up, man? How are you?
Doing great, you guys. Doing great. Thanks for having us. Like you said, we're definitely on a media blitz. I think we've got like, I don't know, 8 spaces or something crazy in the next 28 hours, 24 hours. Like, so we're jamming, but I appreciate you guys having us on.
Yeah, man. Of course. Welcome to everybody, obviously, that's in the chat. Guys, you're going to have to bear with me a little bit because, yeah, my audio on my MacBook wasn't working. So, like, now I got to do the iPhone thing. So the comments are over here and over here. So if I'm looking away, this and that, this is all still new to me, this whole shit. So just bear with me. But, nah, man, boys, I'm excited to obviously chat with you. This has been a long time coming, you know, obviously like the ETH Denver stuff, that Dawn of the Agents Day, I think was really eye-opening. I mean, I know for Bildo and I, like, we were just sitting there looking at each other. Bildo and I were just being like, I just don't see how Think doesn't fucking cook. Like, I really just don't see how it doesn't cook. So maybe like for people that are brand new, because like the whole thing for Crypto Magic Hour is we started this for kind of like a crypto 101, mostly for noobs, right? So where people can come here, like, not be afraid to ask like what they think are stupid questions, but meanwhile, like, they're probably the questions that the majority of people are out there wondering. And of course, obviously, crypto's being one avenue, but now when we start mixing AI into it, they're probably like, what the fuck is going on? So can you guys maybe, like, I want us to be as less, the less amount of tech jargon that we can use today, the better. But if you guys want to maybe just kind of give an overview of, think
Yeah.
what it is and like just the overall ethos. Mikey, I know you tell a great story, bro, about, I don't know. Go for it.
Let me set this up a little bit, because the main thing here to get here, and the nice thing is Mike's got on the red hoodie, I got on the black one, right? Mike's doing the protocol, I'm doing the product. So there's two things you got to understand here, right? For the last year and a half, if you've been following us, and we keep talking about like, we need to, it's almost like building a town. I talked about this with Cap and Steve, right? It's almost like we've been doing the boring part, which looks like we got to level the land. We got to put in plumbing. We got to put in streets, put in land, right? That's all the stuff that Mike's been working on. And for the people who've been watching us for the last year and a half, we're like, hey, we got all these announcements, all these, we're 70 people in the Independent AI Institute, all that kind of stuff. People are like, cool, show it to me, right? So it's hard when you're building a protocol because people are like, I don't get it. And it's like, well, if you're an engineer, you would. So there's a protocol and there's a product. So why don't we start with the protocol, and Mike can kind of dig into that, and I'm happy to talk about the product.
Let's go.
Yeah, totally. So everybody's talking about AI, but people are like, I don't even know how to get involved. Like, has the bus already left the station? Like, how is this all going to work?
Yeah.
Well, the design, right? Like the constitution that your country is based off of is going to determine the outcome of where your country goes. The way your protocol is designed is going to determine how that network grows. And so like right now we're in a private set of private networks. So imagine if you showed up and you thought you were coming to the United States, but there was no public, right? There's no public streets. There's no right to free speech. There's no right to freedom of beliefs or assembly or anything like that. That's the state of AI right now. And what we've done is we've created standards that allow there to be an internet of agents. So if everything's going to work together, we essentially allow our agents to use tools, right? And like using tools is what makes something an agent. It has the ability to have agency and to do something. The next one is agent to agent communication. That's a new thing. There's not a way, like if you go to ChatGPT, it's like, how do you make ChatGPT talk to Claude, talk to Midjourney, right? So we handled that one as well. And then the last one is payments. How do you allow them to transact on chain? How do you allow them to start using all these tools? And that's what Think agents really are, is it standardizes these agents so that you can have an economy built on top of it. That all might sound really nerdy, but it's kind of like saying, well, the Bitcoin network is going to allow us to be able to hold our own money. The Think agent ecosystem is going to allow us to hold our own intelligence.
Let's go. Yeah. I mean, it's, I think one of the things, and Bill, like you and I talked about this ad nauseum, where like the thing that we're trying to hammer home to everybody is literally like own your own. When we say like, I mean, the slogan is fucking own your own intelligence, right? Like own your own data. Like maybe like if you want to chat on that about how, like, I mean, we've been stressing it in every single space, and I don't think people genuinely understand. Yeah.
I don't think they get it either. And here's the thing. I use this I try to think of like, what's a line that can break through so that people start to understand this shit, right? And it's like, remember, your agent's going to see everything you look at on the internet. So think about everything you looked at on the internet in the last month. Your agent's going to see that. It's also, if you want it to be really performant, right? So what I mean by that is it includes your bank accounts, your keys if you're in crypto. But if you actually want it to be performant, you're going to need to give it control of your computer too, which means it's going to see everything you look at on the internet, and it's going to see everything on your computer. Okay, do you want Sam Altman or the government to have that? That's a real, and here's the thing. I'm not even talking about like, most people don't have anything crazy like on their computer. But what I'm saying is like, if you just go like, hey, I got pictures of my kids on here. I got my business plans on here. I got my medical records on here. I got, my strategies at work on it. Like all of that stuff is going to either go to train their models, or you're going to be able to turn it into capital on your side of the fence. And what I mean by that is like, when you start to think about like, all of us are just algorithms. We've survived a bunch of stuff, and it's created this way of us thinking about the world. And that's why when people say, they give advice, what they really mean is like, here's an algorithm that's worked for me. Okay. And for instance, if you see all these massive layoffs happening at these tech companies, it's because they've already copied their algorithm. So if like, let's say I have your Teams data and I have your emails, right? Guess what I can do? I can pretty much figure out, I can approximate, oh, here's how Bildo would probably answer that. Here's how Dave would probably answer that, right? Well, now I don't need Bildo and I don't need Dave because I've already kind of copied the way that they go through the world and solve problems. Make sense? So what we've been trying to figure out for the last 2 years is like, how do you do this in a way where the data stays with you, right? So that thing that makes you, that kind of unique algorithm isn't getting harvested by, a large tech company or something like that, right? Which is why when we say own your intelligence, it's also kind of like saying own your future economy as well. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like owning yourself. Like we all got into a lot of this space because of crypto and, be your own bank and decentralized finance, and everybody believed in that. But I don't think it's hit the same, or the message is quite hit the same, or it's translated that like the data and the intelligence is what's most important. And
Yes.
if you can then start to monetize that, you can really become, you can make yourself the product as opposed to becoming the product that they're taking your intelligence and then selling right back to you. So
yes, and we've done this game before, right? Like Facebook, and we played this game before when the stakes were like out of a 10, out of 3. We're about to start playing this game at a 10 out of 10. I mean, it's even why like our logo. Shout out to Johnny Ashcraft, our art director. Like that's why our logo, we wanted to be so in your face. Is like you want to own what's going on up here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you really do.
Yeah.
Right, I don't know, Mike. Yeah.
Yeah, Mikey, go for it. If you want to throw something in. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay. So people who think a lot more than the average person about this would be like Mark Zuckerberg, right? And Mark's he went through the mobile revolution, right? Like Facebook didn't used to be on the phone. And there was a period of time where everybody was like, is Facebook going to make it? Right. And what ended up happening is he had to go fight against Apple for a long time. And there was all kinds of lawsuits, and they ultimately they weren't able to own their distribution channel. And so when Zuckerberg actually got interviewed as to why they took their best AI models and they made them available for free, he said, because we're living in a world where even I'm powerless against the supreme powers. Right. He said, I'm going to make it totally open source. And you know what else? China's doing the exact same thing because they're feeling like the small, weak guy. Right. And so we got to be looking at these people that see where the future is going. And like they both have very different interests. Right. But they're both saying like, hey, in order for this to be a world in which I could succeed in, Mark Zuckerberg, I need to make sure that I own my models. And so as individuals, like we're going into that same world. And I think we're very lucky that they open sourced all of these models. And now we have the opportunity to actually be able to have ownership over our personalities, our knowledge, and the data that we create between us and our agents.
Like, how can we most easily relate it to people, right? Because they're like, a lot of people don't even know the difference between like a chat bot versus an agent versus like automating a certain workflow, right? Everyone kind of like loops it into the same. So can you guys maybe draw the parallel of, because Jesse, it's kind of like you said, it's like people hear protocol and it's like, I feel like they're immediately tuned out because it's like, crypto speak. Like, I don't know what this is, right? So yeah, draw the parallel between like, what is it actually?
Yeah, I'd say anybody who has a corporate job and you have like a corporate laptop probably already knows what this feels like. Right. Most people I know that have like a work laptop, they also have a personal laptop. Why? Well, because I know that there's like access over everything on this laptop. So imagine giving that power over on your personal laptop to Google or Sam Bankman, like, you know what I mean? Or Uncle Sam, as I call him, you know what I mean? Like you see what I'm saying? So like when you get anybody who's ever worked at these big corporations and they're like, yeah, I have 2 phones. Cool. You are voluntarily giving that same access to all of your like personal devices. I don't know. That's more of like for folks that are like more close to understanding the 2 device kind of world. You're about to opt into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The videos that you guys showed also, I think like use case helps, right? Like where it's like, what am I going to do with this? Like, what am I going to do with this?
Yeah. So what we're doing. Okay. So Mike's been working on the protocol. Well, the cool thing over there, there's more than 70 organized. We started a thing called the Independent AI Institute, which was about how do we get everyone to work together and shared standards so that everything could talk to each other, right? And so it's why Mike was actually at the Renders conference last week presenting to them. We have a partnership with Render. We have a partnership with, if you've been paying attention, we've been pretty much dropping new partnerships like for the last couple of weeks on a daily basis. We just dropped another one, which we can talk about in a little bit. But the Independent AI Institute was like our attempt to like, how do we get everyone talking to each other and getting on the same page? And I think we have 3 new members this week, right? Which is super cool. So it's like, there's no outbound. It's all just inbound. It's like, how do I join? Which is awesome. Which means we can plug into their stuff. They can plug into ours, right? So now that we have this protocol, then it's like, what's the first product? Because you got to show people. It's almost like, hey, I came out with Windows, and you're like, I don't get it. And you're like, oh, I'm going to do this thing called Word. right? Or Outlook, you can start to go like, oh, that's the kind of stuff I could do. Now it's just one way to look at it.
Yeah.
What I'm excited, hey, we open source everything. We're open sourcing everything, which means if you come up with a better version of Souls than us, fantastic. We could give a shit, right? Like all we care about is being out there. So the first product we're building is solving for the problem of like, cool, how do I interact with the agentic web? And there's three things. And I keep coming back to these three things. Number one, you have to own it, right? Which is why, like for me, I'm running Souls, which is the name of the product, on my laptop. And I literally, the first thing you set up is where do you want your data to go? And I'm like, I'm personally just custodying it to my laptop. Now I'm just mostly doing testing and stuff like that, but you'll have options. It's up to you. If you trust Tim Cook, you can have it back up to your iCloud. It's up to you. I'm personally just custodying it on the device. That's just more where I'm at right now. We also have some blockchain stuff coming later I'm really excited about. But just out of the gate, my data stays on my computer. And because my computer's fast enough, I can actually run models and all that kind of stuff on my computer. I don't even need to hit the internet, right? If you have a slower machine, we also have a partnership with Venice. Mike can talk to Venice a little bit more, but they're amazing. Eric Voorhees, the team has like been shipping like crazy. They also don't custody your data. So if you have a slower machine, you can just connect to Venice and still like use almost like a ChatGPT type of experience. Same thing, your data doesn't go anywhere. Now, we're also don't want to dictate what you can and can't do with your own machine. So there's also a section where you can put an API key. So if you want to use ChatGPT, like a lot of people, you're switching between like, oh, I do writing on Claude. I use ChatGPT for strategy. I use Manus when I'm trying to do like, right? Well, guess what? You got in their API keys and you can also use that inside of Soul. So we're not even saying you even have to care about these things. But the first thing is you own your data. The second thing is because we're an index of indexes, because of all the stuff Mike's been talking about, of all these things need to connect together. There's all these things called MCPs, right? If you guys have heard of this, pretty much like, agents can talk to each other. In essence, we're connecting all of the open source MCPs together, and along with everything else in the independent AI ecosystem. So, for instance, our homies over at Morpheus, they're about to launch this really cool thing called super agents. We saw them in Texas last week. Like the stuff they're doing is awesome because we have shared standards. MCPs, super agents, it'll all connect in. Now, for you as a user, you don't know that. You just show up and you're like, man, this thing gets smarter every day. It's like, well, yeah, every time that open source software is getting updated, you're getting updated and you just know it's performing better. It's almost like we're creating like a world mind and we keep adding more neurons to it. At the beginning, it'll be like, oh, you can do these 10 things. And then all of a sudden it will jump to 20. And all of a sudden, and then a year later, it'll be like 1,000 times better because people keep contributing to this open source community, right? So first, you own it, it gets smarter every day. And the last thing is it's personal, which means how do you want to interact with Dave's Jarvis? Bildo's Jarvis. You want your fluff? You want like your ape, right? We literally had just got announced about 10 minutes ago on Twitter that we have a partnership with Meebits. We're really excited about. So like,
let's go.
We're going to be there day one. The cool thing about the Meebits team too, super generous people, they're going to actually give us a bunch of Meebits that you can use by default and not even own one, right? And so all of a sudden it's like, cool, you want to talk to your Meebit, you want to give it a voice, right? As you guys know, because of all the Futureverse stuff that you guys know, we're talking about like Souls right now on like desktop, native app, Mac, PC, Linux, right? The cool thing is because of all the pretty much the infrastructure we've acquired in our relationship with Futureverse, these agents will not only be, in the short term, they're going to be like doing your tasks for you. But in the longer term, they're going to be able to go into Futureverse and hopefully other metaverses as well. That's really cool. Three big things. You own it, you get smarter every day, and it's personal.
And the Souls platform is where you would be kind of doing these different customizations. And
Real
I would
quick,
imagine
exactly.
Before you jump into Souls, Jesse, I just want to like address Tony because it was pertinent to what you just said. He was curious, like, how fast of a machine do you need? When you say fast machine, like, what are we talking about?
So the cool thing is,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Mike.
I can address it. Yeah. Great. So the cool thing is, even if you have a slow machine, you can connect into Venice and you can get uncensored, unmonitored AI inference. If you want to do the whole thing on your machine, the thing you're optimizing for is the GPU memory. So if you're on a PC, a 3090 or 4090, there's quite a few models that they can run. And if you're on a Mac Mini or a Mac Studio or a Mac Pro that has an M3 processor, those are actually becoming wildly performant because they have shared memory. And so, we'll be putting more out about that. But just because you don't have one of those machines doesn't mean you can't access a lot of the value here.
Where do we like? So is there like a specific, you said like, so one of these, like, so if we go to the Apple site, like we're looking specifically for like an M3 chip, and that's if we want to keep stuff on our machine, like Jesse was talking about, right? Like in this instance, that's what we're talking about, right?
And we'll put in our FAQs, like, cause we're just kind of getting close to the public beta builds on these things. Once we have that dialed in, we'll basically run the tests so that we'll have like the official use this, because we're still several weeks away from the public having access to Souls.
Got it. And real quick, Bill, I know Metabeast, did you have a question about you were on to ask about meters or something, and then we could go into Souls.
Atomic pretty much asked what I saw his question pop up. I'm like, yes, that's exactly what I was curious about.
Yeah. And we have another big announcement tomorrow too, along those same lines. So it's like bang, 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 right?
Again with the announcements of the announcements. You're gonna do this to me again the second time?
I could do it, dude. Hey, like, there's just so much.
Gave the alpha on me,
Dave. What are you talking about? They already did the announcement.
Yeah, we
live
just
on
did
stream
10 minutes
today.
ago. We'll give you the next. I mean, it's really cool. Like, here's the cool thing too. Like, you guys, like, our mint, we're really excited about it. Like, you know, you get tokens with it, you get your agent with it, and all that kind of stuff. But what I really love about what we're doing too is, like, what I'm most excited about is the free version of this. Like, what people haven't really connected the dots. Like, this free thing we've been talking about for years. This is our mission, right? And so even today we were on coffee with Cap, and Cap, somebody asked in the audience, like, well, what if you can't afford to mint? And I was like, I got you. So again, you think about it like this, like, if you want access to, like, nobody can look at your data and it gets smarter every day, that will always be free, right? If you want to personalize your agent, or if you want to have think tokens so that you can, like, if I want to use Dave's, like, social media agent, or if I want to, like, upgrade it and things like that, I need think. But if you just want to make sure you have access to AI that nobody can mess with and it gets smarter every day, that is, you just download it. There's no contracts, there's no, like, fine print. You download it, we can't, it's yours. Right. So we're literally trying to give people access to AI, and all of a sudden it plugs into, like, a Venice, free Venice account. All of a sudden it's like, cool, you're good. Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, you're good.
Yeah.
To be able to at least, like, keep up with the agentic world. Like, that's what we're doing. Now it's almost like Tesla, where it's like, hey, if you can afford the sports car, help us build this, because we're trying to get to a $30,000 car down here that anybody can afford. It's that type of model. So it's like, if you can afford to, like, if you want tokens and you want to kind of the more, like, bleeding edge stuff, great. But keep in mind what you're also doing. Like, I was at a school in Austin last week because I'm trying to figure out, like, how do we give this technology to everyone?
Yeah.
Right. Like, that's where we're really trying to get to. So everybody who comes alongside us now and is, like, helps us get us out there. Also keep in mind, like I said, we open source this. So, like, even if you don't like Souls and you're like, I got a better version, we're like, go for it.
Yeah.
You know?
It's the think standard. I think that's the biggest thing that people, when they hear standard, they don't understand, like, genuinely what that means. But, like, when you create a standard for something, now you're widely accepted. And when you hear these guys talk about everybody tapping in and, like, all these other, like, pieces being put together, that's what it means essentially. So you're still gonna have the ability, right, like, to own your data and everything else, right? This is just like the mint tomorrow, and we'll get into it in a few. Like, this is like the bells and whistles. You want to get ahead of the curve. You want to start like really experimenting and, like Jesse said, like, on the cutting edge. But yeah, Bildo, you had a question about Souls. Like, yeah, lead us in there.
Yeah, and just, I mean, to me, Souls is the platform where you can kind of do all that customization or assign an actual body to the agent that you want. And is it also plug and play to where, hey, I need to utilize Venice for this particular action that I'm going to be doing for right now, but then moving forward, I'm going to be also hosting, so you can kind of plug and play the different resources that are tied into things from the Souls platform?
Great question. So Bildo, like, right now in the beta that at least Mike and John and I use every day, it's a drop down, and I could switch models, like switch from Venice to this, switch from this. It's super easy. What we're trying to get to is your agent does that for you. So all of a sudden, if you're like, hey, I'm just trying to, like, hey, can you clean up this PDF? It doesn't need to use a huge model to do that, right? And so it automatically throttles itself down, does that. And if you're like, hey, analyze this book for me, so we're building, like, an agent that will do that. But right now, I just literally, I click and I just change it. The problem is it becomes like word soup, because it's like, this one model 2.5, this one model 6.7. It turns into a mess. But just know that our roadmap is to create kind of that air traffic controller for you, so that you don't even care. It's just doing it, right? Because kind of our premise in building Souls was, you will primarily, and we've talked about this, you guys, like if you try to go out right now and just go to, like, agents.ai, right, or agents.com, and try to pick an agent, there's hundreds of pages of agents. You have to figure out how to download the agent, how to run the agent, how to connect it to inference and all this shit. Like, what we're trying to do is give you one agent your fluff, or whatever you want it, however you want to embody it, right? And it behind the scenes, it's negotiating with all the other agents for you. So if you go like, hey, help me do my crypto taxes, it goes, I don't know how to do that, but I found an agent called Dave's Crypto Tax Agent that has 900 5-star reviews. It would cost you $4 to have it do your taxes. And I go, sure. And then Dave takes that and we take a rake.
Let's go.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Wait,
And
taxes?
the
You guys
cool
pay
thing is
taxes?
From simplicity, yeah, dude. From the simplicity standpoint, if you guys look, we actually did people have been asking about a demo. So last Thursday, we do a podcast every Thursday. We had John, our CTO, come on, and we're like, let's just show them what we have so far, like warts and all, right? And so if you go watch that video, we're actually putting the full length podcast out today, and you'll see that like that's unedited. That's like on the cuff. John, show us what you can do, and he like builds a website for Mike and, all sorts of different stuff. He even like emails Mike a copy of what we talked about because John's given it root access to all the apps on his Mac. It's almost like the intelligent layer on top of your Mac right now because Surrey's really not that. So if you go watch that demo, you can kind of see where we're at right now. And just keep in mind, that's as bad as it will ever be, right? But even that, it's pretty fucking rad, to be honest with you. Like if you watch that demo and you go like, cool, so all this is happening on my computer. No one's like harvesting my data, right? And every day it's going to get smarter. So if you want to see the demo, it's up. But like literally it's drag and drop, Bildo, to your question. So we have a thing called a canvas, which is my favorite thing. Like it was based off of Steve Jobs. There's this video where they talk about Jobs when he was trying to do DVD burning, right? And these guys had all these whiteboards and they're explaining how hard to process. And Steve was like, no. He walks up and he drew a square and he goes, you drag this into the square and it burns it. And they're like, that's too hard. And he was like, that's what we're going to do. And then they figured out how to do it, right? So what we wanted to have was this canvas where all of a sudden, if you're like, hey, I'm new to AI, it's like, cool. Like I told you guys, I'm building like an agent for like advertising and marketing. I literally have a PDF, a bunch of PDFs in a file, and I drag them into the box. I shut the box and now I can talk to it. And that's the beginning of my agent. So if you're going like, hey, how do we build this? Like Jobs was like, we make computers for mere mortals. We're trying to make AI for mere mortals. As long as you can drag and drop, you can get started with building an agent.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed that demo, and then seeing like the scalability of it all. Like he's working on something and it's kind of zoomed in, and it's like, oh, that's taking up the whole page. And then he kind of said, oh, like, look, you can shrink it all the way down, and it just becomes this almost like speck of like what we're looking at is like this is a ton of knowledge, but then in the canvas when you shrink it down, it's like you can really start to see how much you could really build into that agent.
And then you can create the logic builder. So all of a sudden you'd be like, hey, first look at this PDF, then this PDF, then this YouTube video, right? So you can also, it's like a logic tree. So you can even like daisy chain it together and almost like, go through these steps, right? Which is super important because right now, if you just use most products, it'll just try to find things on the internet. Well, if you want a really powerful agent, think about it. It's just like people, right? Where it's like, well, if you have a specific background and you have a deep understanding of something, you're going to know the right resources to bring together to make that thing very sharp. In the same way, if you're like, hey, this guy's been a plumber for 20 years and this guy is just watched one YouTube video, well, it's like, who are you going to ask advice from? Probably the plumber for the last 20 years. Well, if that plumber baked an agent about how to like stop leaky sinks, it'll probably be better than the one I can build. You see what I'm saying? And then the cool thing is you build that with drag and drop, and then all of a sudden you can go, hey, this is working really well. I'm going to put this back out to the Think community. And now people start using it, and you end up getting paid for having built that agent.
I like getting paid when I'm sleeping. I love it. Sorry, go ahead, Metabeast.
I do it. So, kind of back to the computer that you might need. So this is basically living on your computer. Won't that mean you'll need like a large storage space, especially if you don't want it being saved elsewhere, if you're going to be training it and having it do a bunch of stuff?
Well, text, like the kind of thing that you would save on your machine, is tiny compared to other things. Like our modern hard drives could hold, like if you transcribed your whole life, you would have no problem fitting.
So it's not going to be like a LLM.
Well, okay, so that's why when I talked about having the GPUs that have the right size RAM, like that's the piece that you're optimizing for. And so like the cool thing is the modern Macs solve that problem in a way that doesn't require a $60,000 setup. And then there's a bunch of models coming out that work on those smaller chips, and then you can always call out to a bigger model when needed.
And will there be like a subscription for the Venus thing, or that's?
on Souls, there's no plan for a subscription at this point in time. There could be a world in which there's Souls Plus or something like that when more abilities come online. But right now we're making it so that everyone can own their intelligence.
Okay, cool.
And I think you guys
One
had
of-
mentioned
one of
like
the things-
Venice was a plugin or like something that would be available to anybody that has an agent that's using Think.
Yeah, one of the cool things is that Venice works by tokenizing their network capacity. So by holding Venice, you actually get access to network capacity. And so we've been accumulating Venice, but also we've got a relationship with Venice for, in the case where we've kind of become the default to scale that up. So there will always be a freemium version that's available. And let's say that you build a business that just takes off and just, goes parabolic. All the tools are there to be able to scale with it in a Web3 way.
I'm curious, like, I think Jesse in the Souls chat, you were talking about like, then, you can start to get like agents talking to agents. And like, if Dave's doing something on Twitter, then it's like, he can tap into your expertise with advertising.
Yep.
I'm curious if you have seen like people or agents start to collaborate. So if it was like you have a background in advertising, maybe Dave also is very good at trying to do some marketing. Can those agents start to work together to figure out how to be even more efficient by working together? Or is it more, here, let me utilize your resource, you can utilize mine, but no
That's
like
a great question.
actual collaboration, I guess?
So they can do that. That's a piece that we're in like the testing phase of, because you've got them able to use tools. Now they're able to talk with each other with JSON and use their wallets to verify the message. We haven't optimized that process yet for making it smooth, but it's 100% doable, and that's on the roadmap.
And I would imagine it's the same thing. Like my head just starts, thinking bigger and bigger and bigger. Yep. And when you are creating these agents, then there'll be a marketplace to where then people could go in and kind of find that specialized, like, hey, I need to figure out how to do something around my house. Here's the, handyman AI. And then like, I think we always heard like with Apple, there's an app for that. And like that became like their marketing for it. And I feel like we're in that there's an agent for that. Like it's about to be into like that shift of we're no longer going to be opening multiple different apps. It's just our agent either creating new apps for us to get something done or working with another agent. Right. Yeah. So super excited.
Yeah. So Bill, though, it's funny. This isn't our first rodeo. Like Mike, John, and I, when we saw the App Store come out, we're like, this makes all the sense in the world. Right. And back then I was still doing more on the film side. And we're like, you know what? Here's our kind of, Peter Thiel always says, what's your unpopular belief? Right. And I was like, I think my unpopular belief is you're going to shoot movies on phones. And people are like, you're fucking crazy. Nobody's going to shoot a movie on a phone. Right. And so we made an app called Cinepro, which became the biggest professional video app in the world. Right. And then it ended up getting rolled up into an app called Filmic Pro, which anybody who's, if you see any Apple commercials shot, it's a shot on an iPhone, that was all shot on Filmic Pro. And there's like this window where you're sitting there going like, a buddy of mine was like, I'm going to make an app where you can do professional photo editing. And it's like, that's a great idea. We're going to do professional video. He was smarter than me. His was called ViscoCam, which is like this giant app, right? Shout out to Greg and his team for doing that. They killed it. And we did professional video. But what I'm saying is there's usually a point right in a market, if you're early enough, where you could still like in your garage. It was like John, Mike, and I still in our garage, like build something that becomes like the biggest, pro video app in the world. Right now, if you're smart, you will open up the App Store and you will go, every app in here needs to become an agent over here. And you'll start making those fucking agents, right? And then monetize it. So it's not even like, it's almost like if we're walking down Main Street in the early 90s and you go like, you see all these stores here, right? They're all going to go inside of here on a thing called the internet, and they're called websites. Right now, I'm like, open up the App Store, look at those apps and go, who's making the agent version of, right? That all of us can connect into and then pay you for that. I don't know, Mike, did you have anything?
Well, yeah, like here's just some super easy ones, right? Like an agent that you click it and it installs and it does your meeting notes, but it does them on your machine and you're the only person that has access to knowing what your private meeting said.
Please, I would love to pay somebody for that. Right
more
now.
Of this. Yes. More
yeah. It's like Dave's universal. Like, I'm charging $10 a month. I'm like, I'm in, Dave. Great. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Universal inbox. All it does, like a developer could do this in a weekend, right? All it does is take your Twitter DMs, your Telegram, your Discord, puts it into an inbox, and now it organizes all of your life, and it knows what's important to you. So it might send you a text message when it's like, this is urgent, right? You guys are messaging me on Telegram, and I've got other people on Signal and other people on Discord, and I'm like trying to stay on top of it. And I'm sure I'm sucking because I need an agent. And these are all like in this ecosystem, these are all apps essentially, but we call them, they're called agents.
Mike, I just did that. I was like, guys, because of my janky audio setup, if you're messaging in the Telegram group, hit me on the Twitter DM side because I can't see Telegram. Literally, I just sent that like 5 seconds ago. So, and you know what the other one was, Mikey? When you're like, does anybody want this? And I know 100. If you can't relate to this, then you're not doing like crypto Twitter the right way. I bookmark a bazillion things. When I saw you be like, does anybody else want this? And it's like, yeah, an agent to go out and literally take all of my bookmarks, fucking summarize that whole shit, and then give it to me in some sort of like applicable way to be like, this is what you should do with all this information. Yeah, I'd pay for something like that. I bookmark it because that's alpha. Ask me the last time I went back to my bookmarks. I don't think I actually went back once, if I'm being honest.
Dude, Dave, and the cool thing is John actually just pushed a new build, which it's still in beta, but I'm sure we'll be able to like live stream him showing it, where you and your agent share a browser, right? And so like the possibility, the problem with explaining what we're doing at Souls is it's almost like people are like, what can I do with it? It's like, well, what can you do with the internet? Like he made a website for Mike about his Uranus thing. Like if you watch the demo, it will make sense. But like I'm using it to do like marketing campaigns. So like if you see any of our marketing and content shit, I'm doing that with Souls. Right?
Yeah.
So it's like, but Buildo's going to have something and everybody's going to approach it differently. And it's kind of like, oh, some people are into sports and they're like, I'm optimizing my fucking whatever. And other people are into crypto. Right. And so we're putting out stuff like Mike talked about this in the demo. He's like, most research teams, they're like, we're going to design for one specific use case and we're going to test it. We're like, cool. You and your agent can see the same, can share a web browser. What are you going to do with that? It's like, well, for me, the first thing I think of is like, I can go to Pinterest. I can look at a Pinterest board and be like, make me a logo based off of this. But for Mike, he might be like, hey, I'm using this to optimize my workouts. And Buildo's going like, oh, I can look at the stock and then tell. And then Dave, you're going like, hey, look at all my bookmarks. And I'm going like, I don't know. All I know is you can both see it. And you can talk to it. And so let's see. So one of the things I'm most excited about is when we launch the token and the beta, we're going to be doing bounties every week on people just posting what they're doing with Souls.
Oh, that's fucking cool.
So it's like, hey, you want to earn $100 worth of thing? Sure. Post a video about what you're doing with Souls. You know why? Because I'm curious about what you're going to do because we can't see it. Again, as the company that's making it, I have no idea what you're doing. So what if we incentivized you to show us, the cool, and all of a sudden, by the way, Gen Music, oh, I used it to make an album. Oh, I used it Alter State Machine, right? Because we're building Alter State Machine in too. So if you don't have a Meebit, the cool thing is they're giving us some for free that everybody gets to use. But if you can't afford a fluff or something like that, keep in mind, like Gina, who runs ops here, she wanted her dog. And so we dragged it in Alter State Machine and it's like this dog 3D, right? And that's her agent she wants to talk to. And so we're trying to build in levels to this stuff too. So it's not about money. It's more about creativity and more about access.
Yeah.
What's the mint price tomorrow? Can you tell? Can you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I'm really
hope so. I hope so.
It's 0.24 ETH.
0.24.
I think.
Yep.
0.24 or 0.27?
0.27 or 0.24? Mikey's.
I don't know. I don't pay attention.
Are we getting a discount?
You're asking
For everybody
this is literally we bring Felix on all of our calls. We're like, Felix, will you nail all the details on the mint side? Because I'm like, I don't know, that shit doesn't stick in my head. But the big idea is it's almost like a pre-sale of a token, right? Plus you get your agent, and you also get this art from Basic. The sooner you mint, the more tokens you get, and you get
24-hour mint, right?
24-hour mint. That's right. We partnered with Magic Eden. Again, that was another partnership. Also, the Alchemy partnership. Nobody even really, I don't think people have really caught on to like how big of a deal it is. If you go read their copy where they said they're going to be working with us on like rethinking infrastructure, just crazy. Also, Render said the same thing. Like that's just another announcement that came out this week that,
Yeah, when I sent Dave, like, are you familiar with this one? He's like, huge. They build infra for everything. Like, like,
dude, you guys know Lenny. Lenny was like, when we got this, Lenny was like, I don't think anybody here fully appreciates how big of a deal it is that we're working with Alchemy. Because that's something she sees on a daily basis. And I was like, well, educate me on it. And it's like, whoa, I didn't even realize it until Lenny was like, let me sit you down and explain this shit to you, you know?
And you guys, are you guys pairing with Story too? Is that correct?
That's
No.
Aaron. That's all on Aaron's side.
From the
That's
future.
future stuff.
Sorry about that.
No, it's totally fine. And this is
Because
one of the things, because we acquired all the Alter State stuff, we're very close, have a very close relationship with Futureverse. We work with them on a daily basis. We are different companies. So it's sometimes people will come to us and be like, hey, what are you doing with this mining thing that came out a year ago? And we're like, I don't even know what you're talking about, man. Like, we got Alter State. Like, we know what we kind of are working with, but we don't work for Futureverse. They're just like our closest partner.
Well,
But the thing that's cool about it,
I was kind of curious about the whole IP thing, which is what they're kind of working towards protecting.
but the thing that's great about it is because it's composable, right? Like you've got the protocols that Futureverse is setting up, the protocols that Story is setting up. Now that these two things are connected, we're connected into the Futureverse side of things. So all of that flows through because we're using an open standard. So you're just going to see these pieces Voltron together because you don't have to ask for permission. You literally use crypto keys to verify the user and verify transactions.
And he talked about that, and he did like a town hall, Mike. But I went to it, and Aaron talked about how like all of this will be interoperable with Think Agents.
It's great.
And I know they're. I mean, it might be a little bit off, but I know they're talking about like 3D objects instead of they have making a universe or a compatible one, and it's not GLB or anything else I have heard before. So
imagine your agent being like, I mean, that's essentially what they're saying, right? Like this aspect of it is like, imagine everything that you like train your knowledge, like your agent on, or like whatever you feed it, whatever you move to that canvas, right? Like in the Souls platform, now you can have that embodiment of like MetaBeast, like whatever you want. Old guy barbecue, friggin' running around doing whatever, you know what I mean? But like now he's gonna be armed with this whole shit. I actually wanted to ask you guys a question. I saw this video about an all NPC like Minecraft community. Did you guys see this?
Yeah, super cool.
Yo, what the like? This was wild, bro.
It was a super cool experiment.
Crazy.
And the most powerful one was the religious leader.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Which I thought was really interesting. Yeah,
it was crazy. Like I foresee this, right? Where it's so now if I have my agent and I'm just thinking like, you know, like we get, you know how Bill does talk about it. It's like, yeah, we get a little inflated sometimes. Like, yeah, fantasy, but my agent can essentially like there will be cities like this where my agent can be walking around like selling my services, right?
100%.
Like to everybody else.
So here's where we're going. So like in the same way Elon's like there's gonna be way more robots than there are people because you will have, you know, multiple robots. The amount of agents that we're about to have is going to be staggering because I might only see one agent, but behind it, you know, I've got hundreds, if not thousands of agents. So for me, the big bet here is like the majority of transactions that happen, period, are going to be agent to agent, not person to person. Because if I even go like, hey, book me tickets to eat Denver and do blah, 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 it's doing all those transactions for me. Also, well, what's the native way that it needs to transmit? Well, it's going to be crypto. Why? Because it can't KYC, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine an agent trying to transact and like, we're going to hold your check for 5 days. That doesn't, it doesn't work, right? And so even when we were first talking about where do we want to try to build this kind of revolution around free think, it always had to be crypto. Otherwise, you know, you're just, it's like having like Niagara Falls and be like, nope, you can only turn on this much water. It's like, that doesn't make any sense. And so we're actually working with a blockchain partner on creating an L3 for memories. And so we're not talking too much about it because we want to do a bunch more testing where you can actually encrypt your memories on chain because memory is going to be the killer app when it comes to agents. Right. And so that's like, it's not just going to be for transactions. It's also going to be for like storing memories and all sorts of stuff like that.
So I guess maybe on that bit, right? Because like from everything that like I'm reading and what I'm seeing and just the different agents and like this shit is evolving so fast, right? Like it's memory and context is really what I'm seeing now is like the most important thing when it comes to like building this stuff. So for the person that's listening now that is considering maybe minting tomorrow, right? Like how do those, like, Mikey, how do those two things like play in?
How does memory and context?
Yeah, like memory, context, and then they're like, I mint this thing tomorrow, then what?
Yeah, so when you're minting the thing, imagine that like the day Facebook came out, if you could mint your user account. And Facebook was like, hey, for all the things that we do in the future, like that's going to be your identity.
Yeah.
But like in those early days of Facebook too, they had those tokens that they gave out. Like imagine that they said, hey, we're only going to ever have 1 billion of these tokens, and we're going to take 30% of them and we're going to put them in a bucket, and everybody that's got a user account, we're going to flow those through to them, so that as this ecosystem grows and we add new things like, oh, I want to advertise, or hey, I want to upgrade my account, or have this kind of IP, or watch this movie, you could use those tokens. That's kind of what we're doing here, is because we're seeding a network, and we're making sure that those early users of that network have kind of the ability to set up shop and build valuable things, right? Like, so in the Facebook world, Zynga was there first. They created Farmville. That was an attractor, right? And being able to use those tokens allowed them to be able to bootstrap a whole industry of mobile gaming. And we would expect to start seeing those things come in, because early adopters are coming in. We're saying, hey, I'm going to adopt this as my system. And then that attracts in companies that want to access consumers, because the hardest thing in the world is actually to build a consumer brand, because you have to pay for it to get to each one of them, and they each don't spend a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
But when you can actually get to the consumers, now you're in a spot where every infrastructure company in the whole world is lining up saying, hey, can I make my stuff available? And like, last week I was at RenderCon, and we were talking about, hey, we've got this professional app called Render Network that allows movie like industry specialists to do VFX. But they're like, well, how do we get to the consumers, right? Like, do we have to build a whole new product? Do we start from scratch? But what they saw is like, oh, Think agents actually have the ability to give normal people the access to high levels of compute. So what we can do is we can actually partner with Think, which they just passed a big proposal over the weekend to make those integrations happen. And so now we're in a spot where anybody who wants to build like the best stable diffusion image generator, or video generator, or audio, like any of these tools that can be done on these GPUs now can be done on Render, right? So you see how that kind of access, like once we as customers, I guess, build that initial network, that's when everybody who's building comes to us, because they have to get to users anyways. And so if we're all in one space and we're saying, hey, these are our values, this is what we're doing, like you've already seen 70 companies line up from Independent AI Institute. Like everybody's ready to serve us. We just have to say, I give a shit about my data and I want to own my intelligence. And then people will be like, great, here it is.
That's the thing. I can't stress this enough. And like, why people are probably like exhausted from hearing us say like, Think's gonna cook, bro. Think is gonna cook, because like, think about this. Like, for those that like obviously come to ATC and listen to like what we talk about all the time, we talk about accredited investors, and it's like being able to like invest in Facebook and having that a bit like, this is your ability now by minting one of these like Think agents tomorrow, getting in on a quote standard like that is going to be across this entire like decentralized AI industry. And you now have the ability to do that. I get it. Like, it's not a cheap mint, right? But you have to be able to see it. If you can't do it, I get it. Right? I'm not saying go out, buy it, don't. But to see the opportunity is clear as day to me, and what Mikey just described, that's what I want. That's what I got into this for. Like, I want to be involved in exactly something like this, because in the Web 2 world, I've never been able to do something like that, ever.
Yeah.
And to answer the question that was down there, mobile's coming.
Yeah.
You don't want to start with mobile because you have to go through a bunch of app store approval stuff. So that happens like towards the end of beta. You can use a web browser though in the in-between.
Yeah, and what Mike and I are both using on a daily basis is like a native Mac app. And the reason why we use that is because we can also give permissions to the rest of our computer. So that's why if you watch our demo, you go like, you'll see that like, yeah, dude, Dave, that's how it's texting people and stuff. So like in the demo, what Johnny did when he said, now email this to Mike, it's because it has access to his mail. And so Mike, I'll get text from John and it will be sent from his agent, like on my phone, because he's given it root access. And he's doing that because he feels comfortable doing that because he's custodying his own data.
Okay.
Right? So if you're Mac, that's why it's like everybody's been waiting for Suri to show up on top of Mac and really blow people's minds. And they're like, yeah, we're not updating that for a couple more years. Well, this is like that. So all of a sudden I can say like, hey, help me find my tax document from a couple years ago. And it's like, oh, it's in this file. And I'm like, thanks. And now I'm like,
and there's a Windows and a Linux build too, right? So like the way we built this thing is that it can operate platform agnostic. But like right now we're Mac folks. So we're putting a little more love in that side.
Siri and Alexa are too lazy.
Well,
Don't even get Mike started. He's been bitching about Siri for years.
Is it like I don't want Siri, I want Alexa, to where you could literally go in and change your name or change your agent? Like you can customize it to your liking, and or like I know you both have talked about. Like I know Mikey has a personal agent that kind of talks shit to him, you know, and has a little bit of fun joking around. But also has
he has Coach Mike. Like kicks his own ass. He kicks his own ass every morning to get his stuff. Really
so is there benefit? And I know you've talked about having like an advertising one.
Yeah.
Do you see that people will create like a very personal one that becomes almost like their, like best 100%. Friend or their person that they're always kind of, hey Siri, please get me this, do this, do that.
It's your second. Mike calls it your like exterior, like what do you call it? Your exterior
exocortex.
Exocortex. Because think about it like this. Yeah. There you go, my buddy. I think about it like what I'm trying to build is like a second brain. So. It's funny. Janie in the chat looks like she's a marketer too. Like, so there's people that I strive to be like. There's this guy named Claude Hopkins. He wrote Scientific Advertising. There's a guy named Ogilvy. There's a guy named Lee Clow. There's like all these people that when I'm thinking about creative ideas around marketing and stuff, I want to talk to them, right? It's almost like collecting ghosts, right? And if I can like, before I run in a campaign, I could talk to David Ogilvy about it privately and be like, oh, man, there's a guy named Bill Bernbach that I really love. Bill Bernbach really kind of invented creative advertising. Like if I could talk to Bill I'm going to run this by Bill Bernbach, Ogilvy, Claude Hopkins, Lee Clow, right? So what I created by just literally dragging in so the cool thing about the canvas is I'm dragging in PDFs, but also I can attach YouTube videos. So all of a sudden I found this like really awesome talk from, Bill Bernbach about like the mistakes not to make in advertising. It can pull in those transcripts. So I'm talking to a better version of myself is what I'm trying to create, that version of myself that still remembers what it was like when I finished their book for the first time and had underlined all it. And now I'm 40 and I've forgotten half that shit, but I know that he's right. And it's like, so I can either go down and get out my books and all my notes, or I can just have all that shit inside this agent. And so I have a specific agent just for marketing and I could just go talk to him. Right? Like there's dude, I posted this the other day. Go look at what Steve Jobs said. He was like in his early 20s and he talked about how AI is going to allow you to like become friends with Socrates. Right? He calls like where Apple would be right now if Steve hadn't died, it would be a whole different ballgame. But if you go find it, I tweeted it a couple days ago, and he talks about how like AI is going to allow us to like have conversations with these people that have been dead forever, right? And so that's what I'm doing over here with an agent. And then I have another agent where I'm like, we got 4 kids and, healthcare is always a thing. It's like, so then I have a healthcare agent and I'm just swapping between them. But I really think about it almost like it's a better version of me, or it's a best version of me when it comes to stuff I understand. And then the agents I'd like to acquire that I'm hoping somebody out there will make are things that you understand that I don't. Right. And
I'm curious, like with like the YouTube videos, are you able to get it to like, not necessarily take the information that they're talking about, but like the cadence of like, oh, this guy is very witty and he's always got like a one-liner that he comes back and everybody starts laughing. It doesn't necessarily have to be about the context of what they're talking about, but more the personality of like a comedian or somebody that's going to roast, or a Spaces host that's like, oh, they really know how to run
really interesting.
The operation. I don't care about the content they're talking about. I care about
right. So we have not done enough work on that. We actually built. Okay, let me think about how to say this. So we built an IMPC for a large metaverse that we still haven't gotten to show yet. Right. And it was almost like a dungeon master where you could go and talk to it and it would like create games for you. Right.
That's cool. Cool.
It's super cool. And we were trying to get the personality right, and the personality just never really got there. This was in November of last year. It's way better now. So I guess what I'm saying is like, think about we're building in this order: functionality, right? Personality. So like personality, it's like you want it to be. A buddy of mine said, Jesse, I'm going to be really excited about this IMPC when it feels like when I log into the game, it feels like I'm walking into the Cheers bar. And it's like, everybody says like, it'd be like if everybody walks in, they're like, hey, Bildo's here. And it's just not, I haven't seen anybody get that there yet. So we're really focused on like all the individual pieces, because then you can start to connect them together. Right. And then when people start to connect all these individual pieces together, it starts getting really interesting. So like, for instance, I could go again, a PDF plus a YouTube clip plus a voice message, and it's going, okay, I need to be able to transcribe. I need to be able to, oh, this one's in Japanese. I need to translate this to English. So you can start to map together all this as like, oh, it can transcribe, sure. But when you map that to, translate, and you map that to like all these different functions, you start to get these almost like decision trees happening. That's the kind of stuff we're thinking about now. Where we want to get to. And so my background way back in the day was, like I said, I was on the film side, and my mentor is a guy named Brian McDonald, best in the world at story structure. Like he teaches at Pixar. His book Invisible Ink is the only required to read it at Pixar. So when it comes to like understanding story structure, Brian's the guy for that shit. And so we're going to be working with Brian on how to build complex characters. I just don't want you to think that's happening right now. It's the kind of thing I think it's 6 months to a year. It's going to click, and then it's going to feel like magic. But right now it's not there yet, at least from what we've seen. So we're focused more on like, hey, help me to get my email, help me to write campaigns, all that kind of stuff. I don't know, Mike, did I miss anything there you'd want to double click on?
No, I think that was great. And I got to jump into a meeting here in 3 minutes. So I kind of wanted to close out with how I knew it was so important to own your intelligence. So in 2014, Jesse and I were working with a company that kind of became Google's #1 analytics partner. And so I spent a bunch of time in New York with the Google team, and I show up to this event that's all about AI and marketing. And it's like the premium brands and the folks from the 2 biggest diaper brands are there. And we're literally eating a salad that was invented by like IBM's AI. And I'm like, this is pretty good salad. Like, 2014, like AI is making salad now. But sitting at that table with the diaper people from the 2 big brands, right? They were like, this is one of the most competitive marketing spaces in the world is diapers, right? You don't think about it, but like people are buying a lot of them every day. It's a high price point. It's impossible to get moms to switch. And so they started talking about how they use AI and your mobile phone to be able to identify, because they're like, we need to get a dad, and we need to get that dad while he's in the grocery store. And we're willing to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars to get him to purchase one thing. And so what they ended up doing is they ended up being able to take, how you type in like your phone number sometimes to get discounts at a store?
Yeah.
So that is connected to the camera system inside the grocery store. And when you walk through the boundary, here's all the phones that are there. And then they say, okay, of that, who's watching what kind of porn? And so they actually used your porn usage to be able to identify this is a dad. This is a dad like who buys diapers, and like they were able to go through and they were able to get to that point. And they're like, yeah, what you don't understand is when you go to the grocery store, the food is irrelevant. They actually lose money on every single thing except for advertising. The total margin of the grocery industry is smaller than the amount of advertising that's being done in that store to you. And so everywhere we go, we are being seen as like farm animals. And it's like, how do I adapt their behavior? I take everything I know about them. And it got kind of scarier this last week talking to the CEO of one of the biggest AI companies that's doing LLM training. And they said the big industry now is in the equivalent of search engine marketing or search engine optimization, but for LLMs. Because now, instead of it happening when I type into Google what I want, it's actually happening that agent now has an objective to get you to have a positive association with a thing or to be ready to buy something. So imagine like you imagine that your spouse, who you choose to be your spouse, is a pretty big deal, right?
Yeah.
Now imagine if somebody that you have that close of a relationship, right? They know your bank account, they know they know all these things about you, but their job isn't to be your partner. It isn't even to make their own life good. They're actually a secret person working for whoever's paying the most, and they don't have to even talk about it. But like, that is what we need to understand is if we don't own our intelligence, literally we're going to be owned by people that can manipulate us through our agents.
Yeah, I'm trying to get paid off my porn search history. Thank you, Mikey. Shit. You guys
it needs to be more obscure, I guess.
It's your data. I got to bounce to you guys. I appreciate you guys for having us. Like, this week's going to be a movie, but I would just, my last thing is just encourage people to, like, if you really want to start to understand this shit and you've been using like ChatGPT, go there today and ask it, what do you know about me? Okay. And then ask it, what are my blind spots and how do I improve? And it will blow your fucking mind. And then go, because right now you're probably thinking, I didn't give it very much. Okay. Well, go ask it. It will tell you what it knows about you. And think about what's going to happen when you connect that to your calendar, all the files on your computer, when it can see what's on your desktop, right? How much this is going to like start to escalate over the next couple of years. I appreciate you guys. Happy to do this
Appreciate
anytime.
y'all.
I'm
It's
really
like,
happy
go.
for me.
like Christmas Eve. That's tomorrow at what, 11?
Tomorrow,
11?
11 a.m.
11
Pacific time,
Pacific.
right, guys?
Yep.
Thanks, y'all.
Yes, sir.
Cool.
Let's go. Mike
Awesome.
and
Thank
Jesse,
you,
thank
guys.
you guys, man.
Hit me up. You guys
Appreciate
got
it.
my info. Peace.
Let's go. Yo, this shit never, like, it blows my mind. I mean, it's no surprise we probably got the most viewers that we've had in a minute with these
Nice.
guys, but these guys, it's crazy, man. El Torito, just I think to answer your question, when you're like, can it see what they're talking about? I'm pretty sure it's just ripping the transcript. So if it's audio, like if they're talking about it in the YouTube video and it's going to be in the transcript, I think it can digest that. So it's putting the video in there, it's ripping the transcript from that video and adding that to the knowledge base, which is the canvas. Hopefully that answers the question. Yo, boys, like these guys, I mean, this shit, like, I don't know about you guys, but like, I want to think, like, the allocation of things. So maybe we could talk about this because maybe we didn't get a chance to really with them, but so you guys understand, like, this mint tomorrow is 24 hours. After that, like, yeah, open market. I saw somebody in the comments, right? It'll be cheaper after mint. Maybe. That's cool. Like, you're not getting the Think tokens after mint. You know what I mean? Like, that to me is such an integral part of this, like, this whole thing. And I don't know, like, this allows, like, you to be in on the ground floor of something really, like, in my opinion, something game changing. Like, this is it. And I see it by the partnerships. And you guys might not know, like, who some of these partners are, but I'm like, from take it for whatever it's worth from me, when I see somebody like Alchemy and like all these other companies, it's fucking ginormous. These guys are building the infrastructure, like blockchain infrastructure for everything. So like every day there's a new partnership announcement. Like, look, I mean, I don't know. I'll get off the horse for a hot second, but like these guys blow my mind, man. What do you guys think? Don't go quiet on me now.
Can't hear you, Bill, though.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot I was muted. Every time I hear him talk, it's like I get more and more information, and I feel like they do a great job with, as technical as everything may be at times, trying to give examples of how it can be relatable to like the common everyday person, and it's like, oh, that kind of makes sense. So anybody that is listening, give Jesse, give Mikey a follow on Twitter, follow the Think page on Twitter. Should be an exciting day tomorrow. I think they're on a few more spaces and then going to be doing a live spaces for the Mint, I believe, as well. So yeah, there's no shortage of information and they're very responsive. So if you do have questions, by all means, comment on one of their posts, and I haven't seen them not answer any questions. So
Atari, a cameo. I mean, I charge a lot, bro. I mean, I don't know if you could afford this kind of cameo, but if you want to pay in Think tokens, like, I'm good with that too, just FYI. Shout out Atari. It's been a minute, man. Believin's, thank you. Yeah, Believin's chimed in. Reverse. I love this shit where it's just like, all right, hey, listen, you need the balanced angle, right? Where it's like, it's going to be cheaper after mint. It's like the tokens will be cheaper too. Maybe you're right. I don't know. Who fucking knows? But at the end of the day, listen, I'm here to support it. Like, I love what these guys are doing. Guys, we still have a little bit of time, and I want to revel in 2,300 live viewers. You know what I mean? Like, I like this. Like, this is
Landy's afraid they're going to out crypto him.
Yeah, probably. Who's this? Why is Landy this? He's not a bunny. I'm disappointed. Oh,
no, because Believin's like, oh, that's Bildo. I didn't even realize I'm watching Bildo right now. Like, I've never seen his face, and I'm like, but you just realized that we've talked numerous times on Spaces or voice chats, and I'm like, how do you not know the voice at least? But yeah, shout out to Believin's. He's doing some amazing stuff as well. It's just cool to see all different types of billers coming together to be able to have access to these tools that I think are going to really take it to the next level. Yeah, I'm excited for the Mint tomorrow.
Me too, man. Me too. If you guys have any more questions, throw them in the chat. I'm just trying to think, like, what else, like, maybe that we maybe didn't cover, because the group chat's going off and they're creating like amazing things. So I'm just kind of curious. Like, I actually want to know, like, that bookmark thing, right? That somebody's like, would anybody want this? Yeah, that, like, hell yeah. For me, and maybe we can kind of go over, like, what are you guys going to load into, like, your knowledge bases or like use case stuff? For me, I got transcripts and fucking spaces for days, right?
Watch what Ruverse does if he gets one. He's an artist, I know, and he's very, very creative and has already done a lot of cool stuff, just with NPCs and such. So
Yeah. Billo, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do it for? Like, I know we talked about obviously like on the side, like mortgage shit, like work stuff, but are you gonna do like something different? Like, I mean, I'm just thinking about this straight, like from a straight revenue perspective, because it's like I would love for an agent to be out there peddling my shit and my services and bringing back money, bro. Like that's a dream.
I feel like the hardest part for me is like narrowing it down or creating that like lane of, you know, I want this to be my personal caddy for when I go to golf. I want it to pull up wherever course I'm at. It knows all the different undulations. It knows the yardage that I'm at. And I can just say, hey, you know, find me the pin location and tell me how far or if it's like I want a mortgage one and a business one, and or is there like a combination that you can kind of build like yourself, you know what I mean, and all the things that go into it. So I just feel like there's so many different possibilities. And then looking at apps, like you said, go look at the app store right now, and if you see any app that you can download right now, then like there will be an agent for that. So then I'm starting to think like, okay, well, I don't know shit about this, but this is the most popular app on a marketplace. So I think that this could be able to make a good agent. So I just feel like there's so many different ways that you can take it. I think my hardest part is really trying to like narrow that down and figure out which direction I actually want to take it.
Yeah.
I want to know, am I going to be able to get rid of Chat GPT that continuously blows smoke up my ass and acts like it knows stuff that it doesn't, and finally get something that's going to, you know, cooperate?
I mean, look, like, but I think what they mentioned also was like you're gonna have the ability to like plug in like really whatever you want. Like for me, like the thing that I'm thinking, like the immediate right off the bat thing is I'm gonna be looking forward to the Souls platform, right? Because like that's the second piece that's really gonna bring this whole thing to life. Because essentially, like tomorrow you're buying the opportunity, right? Like you're buying, yeah, it's cool art. Yeah, I miss me with the NFT art stuff. Like shout out Basic, but like I need the utility. Like I need all this shit. So when I see what's going to be what tomorrow is going to allow me to do like on the Souls platform, when he talks about connecting it to your computer, I don't think people understand. Imagine just being able to talk to your fucking computer and be like, organize my life, right? Like, tell me like what, like, just make me the most efficient human being on the planet, right? Like, you're going to be able to do that. Schedule this, right? Like, schedule my spaces, schedule like, you know, work my calendar, send me alerts, send me text messages, send the people that I have meetings with friggin' like alerts. And that's going to be like the basic shit. Yeah.
What happens when somebody kidnaps your AI?
How are they going to kidnap? Oh, you
I
mean,
don't know.
Like they did yesterday on my computer?
I'm just throwing it out there. I know something like that for a lot. For me, I don't totally care, but I know for a lot of people, something like that, having access to their computer is not something they're going to be.
And they don't have to give it access, right? Like Jesse was saying, like I give it root access because like I use my Mac like this helps me. For those that don't want to do that, you don't. And for those that want to stay with GPT, you can plug in your OpenAI API keys, like go nuts. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it really is like up to the user. And I think that is the other thing that I think is a really big deal here, where it's like, I hope it came across today where like, when they say like open source and what the Think standard actually is and what the Independent AI Institute is, like these companies are cooking out here. I don't know if y'all saw, but remember when we had Hurist on? Bro, I bought that fucking token at like a penny, like right above a penny. That shit was like 4.5 cents yesterday. Not shilling anything. I mean, I own that shit, just full disclosure, so nobody comes at me with whatever. But I look at that page and I see fucking tons of opportunity. But when I look at the Think standard itself, these guys are like, they're bringing all these powerhouses on board, like rallying around the Think protocol and the Think standard. That's a big fucking deal, like literally. And they're saying, we're not going to be like Sam Altman, right? Like, we're not going to be the ones to fucking gatekeep this whole shit. You want to build a better one than us, a better fucking Souls platform? Go nuts. We'll fucking try and support you if we can. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the, like, forget the beauty. Like, that's where you could see gains. That's where you, yeah.
For me, like the access to the think tank, which is like essentially staking for them, but also becoming like a pool of rewards for all these different other things that will be utilizing it. So if Think is interacting with render, then there might be some render and think going into that. So like, to me, the access to be able to then earn this kind of like treasure chest or picnic basket of a variety of different types of these tokens, like Curious might be in, you know what I mean? To where, and you don't get, there's normal staking, but for the original owners or this mint, that's like, to me, the biggest selling point of why you would want to mint. Because like we have, Genesis brains that will be able to claim, and they also have tokens that are, associated with brains to be able to do that conversion, but they don't get that access to the think tank. And to me, when I look at it, I've just always been like I like to put things away and let them earn, some things for me passively. And I just don't see how this doesn't cut. But
do we get to put our brain inside it? Our ASM brains, I mean.
I don't know how exactly that'll work, but I'm assuming that you claim an agent with your brain.
And
but
yes, Hanano, definitely stories.
Story time meta beast is coming. Yo, if you think that I'm not gonna make I'm gonna go. I mean, the biggest thing with me, guys, is I'm gonna probably try and build a bazillion of these, right? Depending on how many I can actually buy tomorrow. Like, my problem is gonna be like really just perfect one, and that's what I genuinely want to do. And for me, like, my priority is like, look, I got into crypto because I want passive income, right? And I see this as a direct path to be able to do that. It might take a little bit, like, for it to cook and but I think this is gonna be like lighting a match. Right? Like, this industry is going to, you heard what he said about like agent to agent marketplaces. This thing, like, to me, this thing it's going to move so fast that you're going to blink and you're going to be like, holy shit, how did I not get involved? So we might say now, like, oh, like, you're early to this or early to that. Like, cool. I'd rather be fucking early, sit on my fucking hands and just wait and chill and then watch this industry, like, just because it catches up so fast. You hear us talk about this all the time where it's like, in 2 years from now, in 5 years from now, bullshit. I see it literally weeks later. Legit. Look at the stuff that we're doing now. Every day there's a new super agent that's coming out. And I think that's why the partnerships also are just so friggin' valuable, man, because it's like, I don't know what half these other guys are building. Jesse's like, I don't know. Like, I want to know what everybody else is building. So yeah, man, if you guys haven't, I'll put the resource in. But yeah.
You'd like to be Dave the Bounty Hunter?
Fuck yeah, bro.
I like this idea that they will work with other AIs instead of trying to focus on having complete knowledge. Because I just, like a lot of things, I don't see one company being able to have every aspect of AI covered and perfected.
Well, I mean, I think this goes back to like that like protocol layer, and it almost being like the same thing with like when HTTP came out, where it was like that was the protocol that opened up the internet that allowed then a Google to come be built on top of the HTTP protocol. So to me, think is that like beginning source to then open up the possibilities for anybody to come in and build something absolutely amazing. Or, we had cell phones, and then it took somebody to create the iPhone that really made the smartphones kind of really take off in that. So I think at some point there will be somebody to come in and nail the application side to make it so easy that, anybody can do it, or it just becomes like now all of a sudden, my mom, who's not good with technology and old, but she knows how to, send text and have email on her phone and can access the internet and orders groceries and does all this shopping online. So like, yeah, I think this is the protocol that really opens up all of those things to be built on top of it.
I'm picturing like they used to have those little helper guys on your desktop computer,
The Clippy?
Well, he's one example. Yes, he's one example.
Yeah. I mean, look, Metabeast, think about this, right? Like, because I know that when we were in the space last week with Aaron and we were talking about Futureverse and like all these ideas in your head and everything else, like, imagine being able to spill those onto the fucking canvas and souls and then just kind of see what kind of character you can give birth to, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, think about, like, that's genuinely what's possible. A text file, a PDF, a video. Like, hey, here's the video for this. Take this character trait. Take this and take this trait, right? Like, that's huge to me. Like you're going to be, it's this next level of like customization, education. But I think Believins also has a point, right? The key's going to make, and guys, I put the Independent AI Institute link for their X account on there. Look, for anybody, this is Crypto Magic Hour. So if you're looking for fucking tokens, I mean, there's a lot that are in there that are, I mean, they're cheap. I'm not saying which ones to go buy, do your own research, own homework, yada, yada. But that's opportunity to me, right? Like I easily bought a bunch of them that are on there. Curious being one of them, but yeah, definitely go check it out and at least educate yourself. But yeah, being able to use it and accessible is easy as ChatGPT. MetaBeast, do you use anything else other than GPT?
Yes, that's why I kind of said there's not really one that does it all. I go to different ones. I've used Claude, because I do some, have it write scripts for Blender to try to see what it can create for me that way. And there's ones that are better than that. ChatGPT is kind of my general. It's where I start. For voices, I have to go elsewhere. You know, I have it. I'm telling you, I have it telling me that it's creating me a video ad. And just sit tight. I'll have it here for you in a minute. No, it's fucking lying to me.
When it says that, like, it's totally full of shit. That is like the definition that your shit's hallucinating. You got to throttle back a little bit or like restart a combo, because it's like, I'm gonna do this right now. I'm gonna take care of it. Check back in a couple of minutes. Like, bitch, you ain't doing shit in the background.
It does it all the time. Or just today, I told it something. And it said, okay, yep, I got you. I'm going to do it. And then it gives me the exact same thing it just gave me. And it did that for like 4 times in a row until I finally just say, no.
You know what it is too, MetaBeast? Like, start like getting like more accustomed to doing, like, instead of one shot prompt in the beginning, start thinking it out. So remember what I said to Jesse in the beginning, it's like context is super important for these AIs. And when you give them context in the beginning, along with it, what I mean by context is, this is what I want, this is what I don't want. Here's an example of what I want, right? Like this, but said like this, right? So giving them that context really, really helps with a lot of the output, because these LLMs, they don't know shit from shit, right? Like, we're expecting them to come back and give us the best answer. But like, that's where you add in that MCP layer, AKA the Think protocol, right? Like, which is going to be able to do a lot of the shit. Yeah.
It used to know what I wanted.
It used to love me, but it doesn't anymore. I don't know why.
I guess I used and abused it, like we all do sometimes.
No, good chat, boys. If anybody has any other questions in the chat, shout out Hanano and Tony. Obviously appreciate the donations. Like, really appreciate that, boys. Thank you. Tony was like, can somebody mint for me tomorrow? I'm like, bro, it's a 24-hour mint. Like, like, sacrifice 10 minutes of sleep and just go mint.
How many?
There's no limit. It is
There's no limit
for 24 hours.
There is some incentive to be early, though. So basically, open mint starting at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time will be open for a 24-hour time period. No supply cap. So with that, you get the basic or art by basic. You get a Think agent and then an allocation of Think tokens. The person that mints the very first the first mint number will basically receive 5,000 Think. The second person to mint would get 4,999, and it will go down until it bottoms out at 2,500. So if you are in the first 1,000 people that are minting, you are getting more Think tokens than the second 1,000 people that are minting. So I guess the earlier, the better in that perspective. And then everybody's got a chance to get I think it's 10% of all the minters will be able to get up to 10,000 extra Think as well. So yeah, I mean, if you can get,
that's on Magic Eden, and is that ETH?
Yeah.
ETH on the ETH.
Ethereum layer 1, 100%. So if you're gonna do this,
and Magic Eden, Landy, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know why Magic Eden. They got to get on this, man. Like, they need to put this on the Magic Eden site so we can really start pushing this. I'm tagging Magic Eden in like fucking everything, man. Like, what the hell?
We need to talk to Landy. I know we were talking about the chart, so maybe we need to talk to Landy.
Yeah.
Got the landman over here.
The landman.
Whee!
Whee! Yeah, I didn't drop my Wii.
He don't drop the mic. He slams it.
Oh. He was looking. Yeah, thank you, Captain Obvious. I was looking at Magic Eden and saw nothing. Hence why I just said, they need to put it on the Magic Eden page. Thank you, Landy. Whee!
Yeah, I think in the group chat they said something was coming today for it. So
Oh, yeah. Let me check the group chat real quick to make sure I didn't pass over any questions or anything that these guys shared. Is the knowledge added? Oh, no. Okay, that was good. Oh, good stuff. Yeah, that group chat's been, that Souls group chat has been cooking, man. Like, there's some pretty dope, like, use cases that are coming out. I think people asking questions. Yeah, man. Yeah.
That's not soul, right?
No. So this is SOULS. Yeah. So
that's
definitely don't.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, definitely don't mistake it. What else? Oh, so just to tease out also, next week, I don't know why we keep inviting Bildo back, but we do. Is we're gonna start like a Futureverse like 101 series, right, for everybody. So just an intro to Bildo. I was playing with fucking GenSpark yesterday, and I was trying to make like beginner intro like Futureverse like videos or whiteboard shit. Bro, it's the funniest thing ever, man. It's like Futureverse is this. It's made up of this. The different entities obviously that make up Futureverse. Bildo's going to be on with us. MetaBeast, of course, you're welcome back. VV Magic's going to be back. We got Legacy that's going to be coming on as a guest next week as well. Shout out to the Back Cowl crew there. But yeah, like it's Futureverse 101, the least tech jargony metaverse guys. You're on strict notice from right now.
And you're asking me to get on?
Yeah, no, it's simple. What?
That's perfect too, because I'm planning on not tomorrow, but the following Tuesday, since it's still early, I was going to take people in to get a little look at the Readyverse on virtual destinations on next Tuesday too.
Yeah, and shout out to like D Hinano. I know they're doing like, what's the difference between Readyverse and Futureverse? And it's like, I bet you everybody's like, what is the difference between Readyverse and fucking Futureverse, right? So guys, definitely tune in there. Yeah.
Somebody put out kind of a breakdown of the different levels of Futureverse.
And it's cool to see, like, we've had so many community notes or information out there. It's nice to now see more people kind of covering it and finding these things. So I'm like, oh yeah, I totally forgot about that whole like one pager, or here's all the companies that have ever been tied into anything. So it's, yeah, again, shout out to Dean and Anu and True Media Group and them starting to cover it. I know Dave, you're starting to do it more. So it's cool to see, because I believe what they're building is, yeah, absolutely amazing. It's just one of those things that I think it took a couple years to build, and now they're in now it's showtime and starting to get those experiences out there for everybody to kind of go have fun with.
Yeah. And you want to make an announcement of an announcement? Is there anything cooking? Is Bill and Gex coming back, or like what's the deal over here? Like, what's going on?
There's some talk about it. Yeah, maybe Bill and Gex and some guy named Dave.
Third wheel, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we're now at the time where it's showtime, and now there's a lot more to be able to talk about. So, I mean, that was the purpose of Bill and Gex. It was to try to like break it down, and shout out to her because she likes the technical side. She's like, give me another white paper. I want to fucking nerd out.
She's such a fucking nerd.
You know what I mean?
You're such a nerd.
So, yeah, hopefully we can figure that out here soon.
Nice. All right, I think we're clarification. I need to start doing TA in the Futureverse. Oh God. Imagine Landy's charts, fully immersive, living in them, breathing them, cup and handle everywhere. You're welcome.
So do you think Landy will, like his AI, when he's choosing a body, do you think he's going to be like this 8-foot tall Greek god, or do you think it's going to be this like tall fucking like, what's that little thing that just ran by me? And it's like, oh shit, that was Landy.
Yeah, how am I supposed to choose which of my GLBs or PFPs or whatever I want to?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can. It sounds like you'll be able to pick and change a lot of them.
They can change clothes every day.
That's what it sounds
bodies,
like.
I mean, throw it in the AI closet and let him decide? Did he freeze?
Yeah, Dave's frozen to me. I'm not at the best spot here.
Well, he looks happy. That's
Yeah,
that's
at least
what's
he's
important,
smiling.
right?
Yeah, definitely
So-
happy.
What do we do? Do we say bye?
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, I don't think I can stop the stream. I feel like that's up to Dave, but
we could always just leave him there, leave him hanging there.
he said, "Hold, please, keep talking." So I guess we'll keep talking. But yeah, I mean, it's exciting times. We're in that like immersive technology where it's really going to start making a difference. So yeah, I'm excited for it.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, I'm excited for the mint. I gotta go do some moves today to make sure all my money's right for being prepared for tomorrow. But
yeah, that's why I was asking about which it was, so everybody could make sure they.
Yeah, ETH, and minting from Magic Eden, 0.27. With that, you get the art piece, you get the Think agent, and then you get an allocation of Think tokens. Those tokens will immediately get staked up until at least the TGE, which happens in May. And then after the TGE goes live, the Souls platform will go live in June. It's kind of the overall layout for what they have.
Do you know what the Soul platform will, I mean, entail, I guess? I'm trying to think.
To me, that's like the interface that you're going to be
Okay.
like the same way that you would log into ChatGPT, and that's where you can type in, or that's where you can change your character if you want to be a different person or show up in a different body from day to day. I think all of those changes and customizations will all be happening through like the Souls platform.
Cool. Guess who's back?
I mean, what did you think happened? You know what I mean? The fucking phone died. It is what it is. Leave me alone.
I should have known.
It's a janky. My fucking.
I can't get Aretha Franklin think out of my head either. So
think. A Bildo Metabeast takeover. No. Dave froze while laughing. I did see that too. Landy, the reason why there's this setup and you see me going like this, is because the hack yesterday got into my MacBook, and for some reason my audio on my MacBook wasn't working. Of course not.
They didn't get a hold of anything, did they? They didn't take over, did they?
Oh, they took everything in my wallets. Yeah, they took everything. Yeah. We're not going to go down that route. This is happy time, okay? We're not going to go down sad times. We've moved along. Security coming up soon. Yeah.
I'll save it for all things crypto.
Yeah. We'll probably talk. Well, yeah, we'll definitely talk about it there. Breathe in the Landy TA. Yeah, get that off the screen. All right, guys. If anybody, 0.27 ETH is not bad. Yeah, I mean, listen, given where ETH is right now, look, just make sure you have it in your wallet, and don't worry, like there's no rush to mint, okay? Like it's 24 hours. The only thing that you're gonna be like, I need to rush to mint, it's like, okay, you want to get like the highest allocation of Think tokens. I understand that, but like, 100 tokens isn't gonna make or break at the end of the day. So like, just be smart, be safe. I know I got a fucking world of, I still have to open up a wallet. I'm literally giving clients like Coinbase accounts now to be like, send money here. So yeah.
And no matter where you mint, you still have the 10% chance of landing 10,000. So even if I'm the second person to mint and I get 4,099, the 2500 person that gets 2,500 has the same opportunity, and they might hit that 10 grand and get 12,500 Think, and I might get unlucky minting at number 2 and just get it with 4,099. So
where can somebody go to make absolutely sure they're going to the correct mint besides just going?
If it's not on the Magic
Eden, they can.
If it's not on the Magic Eden site, only go literally. Hold on one second. Only on the live show, right? Hold on one second, guys.
I think we're waiting for that link in it to go live with Magic Eden, and Magic Eden saying here's where the official mint is. So they've announced all the mint details, that it'll be on Magic Eden, the time, but I don't think that there's like an official like here's the link from Magic Eden that is where you need to mint. I don't think that that's up yet.
But what I'm curious as to where. So just because recently I minted off the wrong. There was
What?
kind of a duplicate of a NFT, and I purchased off the wrong one. By just going straight to Magic Eden. I was just wondering,
you're saying there was a collection
where,
on Magic
yeah.
Eden that
When,
was
so when
bogus.
I'm not asking, is it available now? But when it does become, is there somewhere somebody can go for
the best
absolutely
way?
sure to make sure
Yeah.
they get to the right place?
The links will be posted on the Think Agent page, 100%. So start it. This is like rule of thumb, right? You have to be like on the Think Agent page. As I'm talking right now, I'm thinking to myself, like, you fucking idiot. You couldn't listen to yourself like yesterday, like to be able to follow all the shit that you talk about. Always start with a Twitter page, MetaBeast, right? Like, go to like the verified account that you know that you've been interacting with. And if they don't have links there, chances are like that's like anything else that you're seeing is bogus. Always go from like the actual verified Twitter account. I mean, even that's not foolproof because sometimes shit gets hacked, but whatever. Like that's standard practice. Go through the Think page for sure, and get Fairside Insurance. I wish I would have listened fucking last week. Yeah, it is what it is.
But I appreciate the opportunity to come on. Looking forward to next week, and I'm sure we'll be chatting a lot more. The rest 100%. Of the day and probably into tomorrow once this goes live. So appreciate it. I do got to run as well. But yeah, always appreciate the platform.
Christmas Eve. Good stuff. MetaBeast Builder, I appreciate you guys. Hopefully I don't fuck up this outro with the music, and then I'll end the stream. But appreciate everybody, obviously, that tuned in. This is our biggest turnout yet, man. 2,433 people. Let's fucking go. I appreciate you guys. We'll see y'all at the Mint tomorrow. Magic hour minus the magic. But really, we did bring the magic out. Let's see how I do this. I'm clicking, and go.
Tune in, turn up, the clock's ticking fast. Crypto secrets from the future and past. Magic got the spark, Dave's got the flow. Right in the blockchain, wherever it goes. The crypto magic hour, feel the power.